My name is David Leonard, President of the Boston Public Library, and my very first duty is to say welcome to the new branch of the Boston Public Library at Adams Street. I'll be offering a few opening comments, and then we'll act as your MC for the next 20 or 30 minutes, because we all know what you really want to do is get inside to see the real star of this morning's event, the branch itself. We are still dealing with the pandemic, with COVID-19, so just a reminder that when you go inside, we will be requiring everybody to wear masks, and we will be keeping an eye on the capacity limits. So just a reminder that, until we're all vaccinated, that's the protocol that we need to pay attention to. But now, to the branch. So cast your minds back, if you would, when we were last here for an opening of this branch on this site. The year was 1951. This was the first branch in the system for 20 years at the time. And the neighborhood was maybe a little bit different. We discovered some notes in our collection this week, actually, telling us a little bit of the story of the time. The neighborhood, we think, was 50% Irish, with a substantial number of Swedish and Italian residents in the neighborhood. One of the other notes says, the education collection was really strong because of the large number of teachers in the neighborhood. Now, we know that even today, this is a community that cares deeply about public service, with so many officials and administrative staff who've do work at city government and have worked at city government. So honestly, I think there's a lot to be proud of here. The branch itself, however, was an experiment. You will remember that facade was designed to be converted back to retail space if it didn't work out. I think we know the story's a little different, and here we are today, where we have now doubled the size of the branch. The children's area is fabulous. When you go inside, see how many animals you can spot on the engravings on the wall. We have added a teen area. We have added meeting rooms where, yes, you'll be able to vote again and back at the library when the time is right. We've added dedicated meeting rooms and really, truly refreshed the overall space. While the original branch also claimed new technology, a movie projector, a screen, and a phonograph. The kids among you can ask one of us older folks what that is, or maybe grab a library person, because we're good with information and we can tell you what that was. Today, however, it's wheelchair-accessible computers, tables, and borrower services stations, and an assistive listening system in the community room and at borrower services. And also, let me just remind us all about what libraries are about in the 21st century. 4 key things. Reading, books, and literacy remain at the core, whether we're reading a physical book or a digital book. But today, the library offers civic space, which is vital in our community, where we have so few gathering spaces, parks and libraries being almost the only ones that are free, paid for by taxpayer dollars, and where all are welcome. The role of our staff in providing innovative services, being concierge to information quests, we will never be the ones to tell you what to believe, but we'll help you on the path so you can find out what your information needs are. And finally, our role in the preservation of cultural history, whether globally, nationally, or indeed locally, as we are here. As we exit, hopefully soon, dealing with this pandemic, we know that youth engagement and workforce development are 2 of the most important ways that the library can help with the recovery as we hopefully get to a point where we're truly exiting the pandemic. Now, the library is a city department, and we are proud of that part of our identity and our financial support. 80% of our operating budget comes from the City of Boston. Almost all of our capital budget, which made this wonderful $18.3 million project possible. By the way, the 1951 building, $75,000 at the time. Times have changed. And so none of this would be possible without a strong relationship with City Hall and with strong mayoral leadership, which began under the Walsh administration, and we are proud for the investment that began in that administration across the system. And today, we are happy to see that continue with Mayor Janey. And so, without further ado, I would like to welcome to the podium the Mayor of Boston, Mayor Kim Janey.
Thank you so much, David, for that introduction and for all you do every single day. What a beautiful day it is. I am just so pleased to be here to celebrate this important milestone. I want to start by recognizing the trustees of the Boston Public Library for their partnership in guiding BPL's policies and projects. I want to acknowledge and thank Linda Dorsina-Forey, Joyce Linehan, and Joe Berman. Yes, we can clap for them. We can clap for them. I also want to recognize the Director of Public Art, Karen Goodfellow. I especially want to shout out Chief Dion Irish and the staff of the Public Facilities Department. I also want to recognize some of the public officials in attendance and thank State Senator Nick Collins, State Representative Dan Hunt, District City Councilor Frank Baker, and at-large City Councilor Anissa Asabi George. I want to thank everyone for being here. Yes. Thank you to Katie. I am so thrilled to be attending today's ribbon cutting for this event to reimagine the Adams Street branch of the Boston Public Library. It has been a little over 2 years with $18 million invested, and now this renovation is complete. This was a joint effort by our facilities department, as well as the architecture firm NADA and J&J Contractors. But most important, this was a collaboration with the residents here in Dorchester. And so let's give it up to this community for their input and their investment in their neighborhood. And it is really exciting to see so many amazing educational and accessibility services being offered in this renovation. This library is being reopened, and it's exciting news for all of the residents of Dorchester, but really all across our city. It is a milestone in a series of upcoming improvements and renovations for the BPL. Our FY22 budget allocates funding for major renovations to the Rosendale and the Faneuil branches, as well as investments in planning for the Central Library in Copley and the expansion of services at other BPL locations all across our city. Yes, we can clap for that investment. In addition, through our Percent for Art program, the city is investing $300,000 in long-term outdoor public art project here at the Adams Streets branch. And look at this amazing patio where we can do all of that amazing art. The community room here was named after beloved Dorchester resident Pat O'Neill. And I know that as the community gathers here, we will honor her resilience and her dedication to the community and to the Ashmont Adams Neighborhood Association. Thank you. You know, I am really proud to see this renovation be completed, and I cannot wait to see how the community will use this space. For me, libraries have always been so critically important. As a little girl who was attending school, elementary school, had working parents, it was the library, my neighborhood library, and librarians that made it possible for me to get my homework done, to explore a whole new world through books, and not go home to an empty house. And so I am extremely grateful to every single librarian across the city, especially those that work here today. And we should give them all a big round of applause. And then finally, this rededication and this investment in our libraries and all across our city really aligns with what I call a joy agenda, which helps us reimagine and renew a Boston that invests in our people. And I'm just so excited to be here, and I want to thank everyone for this investment. I also see and have to shout out Pat Brophy, who is over here, who was also very instrumental in helping to get this done. So thank you so much for being here, Pat. Really appreciate you. I appreciate everyone's commitment to this community, to this branch, and thank you so much for all of your dedication in helping us get here today. Thank you.
The role of elected officials in support and advocacy for not just the library as a whole, but for funding itself is incredibly important. The Boston Public Library is not only the library, the first large municipal public library in the country, but is also the library for the Commonwealth, a role that we play statewide. And to recognize the support at that level, I would now like to invite Senator Nick Collins to the podium.
Thank you, President Leonard. It's an honor to be here. You know, it's a point of pride to be here today, particularly you know, after being away from each other largely over the last year. This facility is something that I think speaks to what's great about Boston is when people come together. And this investment, prioritizing our people, you know, when the citizens of Dorchester and the Ashmont Adams Association, led by Pat O'Neill, said that we want a new facility, the people you sent us to get to work responded. Former Mayor Walsh, I know Pat was just recognized. Former Senator Leonard who, you know, I actually met on the Save the Libraries campaign like 12 years ago, and she's been fighting for libraries ever since in her private and public capacity. Councilor Baker, who wanted to make sure that this got prioritized in their budget and called his friend Anissa Sabi George and Mayor Janey to support him. So we're at our best when the people challenge us to do better, and it forces us to come together. So in the spirit of that, it's an honor to gather with you today, and look forward to some great stories coming out of this library in the future. Bye.
The role of the City Council is one that approves our budget on an annual basis once designed and submitted by the Mayor. And so we would like to invite Councilor Frank Baker to say a few words. And I want to thank Frank personally for adjusting his vacation schedule so he could actually be here. And also for leading the sponsorship of the dedication of the Pat O'Neill Community Room. Frank.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. First, I'd like to thank everybody for being here today, especially the mayor. Thank you for your time and coming out and spending this glorious day with us here today. I'm wearing my party dress here today because we're in a celebration. 10 years in the making. The way capital works in the city is a city council will ask to put something on a capital budget, which 10 years ago, we were talking about closing libraries. Lower Mills was going to be closed under a previous administration. And the change in just the thought process around libraries from administration to administration was amazing. We went from wanting to close libraries to open and fund new libraries. And that goes to my friend, the current Secretary of Labor, former Mayor of Boston, Marty Walsh. We have to thank Marty for this here. He's not here today, but thank him. And back to the Capitol started 10 years ago. Pat Brophy and I were walking on Adams Corner. He wasn't even a city employee at that point, but he's saying to me, you have to get this on Capitol. You have to get this on Capitol. You have to get this on Capitol. So I got it on capital. 10 years ago, here it is. 10 years later, here it is. So that's the role of a city council, to make sure that you're getting projects like this in your capital budget, so we're able to have places to connect and join as a community. The more connected I think we are as people on phones, connected digitally, I think the more disconnected we are. So that is a reason why we need community spaces like this, why we need libraries like this, and how important they play in the role in families. My family spent a lot of time here. They were reading. My wife was active with them up here, and they've become good students. Proud of that. I want to thank everybody that's here, but especially we have a whole lot of people that are running for different offices. Wherever you are with these people, thank you for putting your name on the ballot. Thank you for caring about the city of Boston enough to just put your name on the ballot. There's people that are running for mayor, people that are running for city council. Community, please use this opportunity to seek those people out and find out who they are and see who you're voting for this year. I apologize for the glasses. My other glasses are in the car, but I need them to read my notes. Pat, I would just want to thank a couple people that aren't in the system anymore. Pat, I already thanked you. Tricia Lyons, you were great. Pat, you and your team. Tricia Lyons, you made this possible. You and all your team, a lot of your team still there. Kerrie took over for you. Kerrie, thank you very much. And also, the advocacy happens not just with me. When it comes back and people know that something like this is on Capitol, it's on me to go to my colleagues and say, can you help me with this? So the at-large people, Michael Flaherty was helpful, Anissa George was helpful in pushing this forward also. Dan Hunt has always been a great supporter of this library. And yes, you can give it up. And I just want to point out one feature of this library that's very, very important and near and dear to my heart. I got a call when we were still in design. Well, actually, I think we were in construction at that point, Pat, right? And I said, Pat, we're having a problem. What's the problem? We can't lose that tree. You're kidding me. I said, nope, can't lose the tree. If we look at the tree, right, and that advocacy came from this neighborhood. Maureen Panetta, Joanne Tranford, those are the two that I just have written down. I apologize whoever else was there, but there was a whole, yep, yell it out. Grace, yes. So basically it was a whole bunch of women that started calling me and sending me emails and text messages saying, if we lose this tree, then you're gonna have a problem. So, but I'm a big tree lover. It's probably the best tree in the whole neighborhood, and I would think looking at it 70 or 80 years old, which would coincide with the original library. So this tree was probably put here to be part of the design, part of the garden for this library. Proud to be part of the team that saved the tree, and that's a little bit of my green credentials there. I'm just letting you know that. But what a good day for us, and I had some stats: most used library, second most used, whatever it was. It doesn't matter how used they are; they're all being used now. They're all connecting us in a personal way. We have to remember to say hi to our families and our neighbors. Let's get connected again. Let's take the masks off. Let's smile at people, and let's just be humans again. I'm thrilled to be here. Kim, thank you very much for coming by, and enjoy your day. Thank you, everybody.
So who's following, Frank? Oh, sorry, yeah. So the library is overseen by a board of trustees that now number 15. And we have 3 trustees who are present today. And someone who I think is probably not a stranger to many in this neighborhood will be our next speaker, wearing her hat as trustee, Trustee Linda Dorsina-Forey.
Good morning, really good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, this is a joyous, joyous day, isn't it? It's so wonderful to be here with all of you. I want to thank you, Mayor Janey, for being here and for celebrating and sharing your story on the importance of libraries in your life, right? I want to thank David Leonard, the president. So this is the problem with the sunlight, so I'm going to step back from the mic, right, so I can read a little bit of my script. Again, this is an incredible, incredible day, right? David Leonard and the incredible team of BPL. Let's give it up for them, y'all. As you know, I'm Linda Dorsina-Forey, and it's an honor to serve as a trustee of the BPL Library. I want to acknowledge my fellow colleagues and trustee, Joe Berman, who's here. Come up, Joe. And also, of course, the one and only Dorchester girl. Come on, Joyce Lenahan, right? who grew up going to this library, right, Joyce? Which is awesome. I also want to like to thank the staff again and really recognize Katie Brown, the head librarian of Adams Street Library. Katie, come on up, Katie. Katie's on crutches, but you guys gotta see Katie because she kept this going. She's gonna make her way out here. She's on crutches, so she's gonna work hard to get out here. Also want to recognize and thank, which is really, is Katie coming? Okay, she's coming. And want to thank also the staff of BPL, right? And when I say the staff, I'm talking about AFSCME, and the president is here, Elisa Chitalik. We're Catalick, where's Alyssa? Alyssa Catalick, and the team. So thank you for being here. But possibly more than my pleasure, really, is serving as a trustee as the library, which I'm so happy to do, but it's being a Dorchester resident and being part of this incredible, incredible community that we work so hard to bring this day to fruition, and you heard that. I want to thank Councilor Frank Baker for his leadership and for speaking here this morning and speaking about, you know, everything and all the issues we had to do together in building this. As I look at this building, okay, here's Katie now, y'all. Shout out to Katie. All right. Good job, Katie. You know, as I look at this building and I think back to not so distant past, right, when the libraries were seen as a convenient budget line item. You all remember that, right? That could be pared back to nearly nothing to balance the budget. But we fought hard, didn't we? We did. We knew libraries were not just buildings full of books that cost money to operate. Libraries represent opportunity. Libraries is where it represents the future. Libraries are where young people go to gather and to think about their future possibilities. Libraries is where our greatest generation, right, come on, you all go to check out what's happening. Libraries is where folks that are trying a better life for themselves build up their resume looking for jobs. They go to libraries because they don't have access to computers in their homes. So libraries are important to us in this community. And so this branch represents more. And I want to thank all of you for the incredible work that you have done. We didn't just want buildings, we wanted more, right? We wanted innovation, we wanted technology, and this is what this place represents. I see so many people who helped make today a reality. Dan Hunt, Frank Baker, City Clerk, then Maureen Feeney. Y'all remember Maureen? Because the tree was one of the big things during her administration, right? Patrick Brophy, who got a shout out. We now work together at Suffolk, which is awesome. City Councilor Anissa Asabi George for her work and her leadership. I see so many people here, and Frank mentioned this, but as a former elected, I'm going to give quick shout-outs real quick, right? That it is important. There's a crop of people running for office, in particular for city councilor at large, and they're here today because they know the importance of libraries. So it's important that I want to just name quickly, Ruthzi Louis-Jean is here, Erin Murphy, Saeed Abada-Kareem, James Colomore, Will Dickerson, John Spillane, Carla Montero. I see the former Chief of Economic Development, John Barrows, here as well. There is so much that we're going to be doing together, and we need to continue to do it because it doesn't end today, because there's so many more libraries, right, in our great city, and that's going to be built, and we need you at the table working with our city councilor and our mayor and our team to make sure that it happens, right? So it is very, very important. But more importantly today, and this is important, that we take this moment, a moment to recognize and remember a very special person that loved this community and had a commitment to us. I can't believe I'm doing this. And I see my good friend, State Senator Nick Collins, who continues the fight to make sure we could get the resources on the state level, that libraries will never close, not on our watch, not on our dime. It will not happen. But today we want to recognize an incredible champion who gave everything to this community that she loved, and that's Pat O'Neill. An incredible, fierce fighter for our community. And this community led and worked hard as part of the Ashmont Adams Neighborhood Association, and I know the members are here, right? For the electeds in the crowd, you know Pat would stand out here for us for several hours on election day, right? So thank you, Pat. Pat would be out here for us standing. But we are grateful for her energy and her passion, and I know she's smiling down on us. We are joined today by Cindy Faden, president of the Ashmont Adams Civic Association, and its treasurer, Mary Kelly. I want to thank you both for carrying on Pat's legacy, which imbues this beautiful place. And what an appropriate space to name the community room, a place to gather and to continue the work that she started. And so as you pass through this beautiful branch today, take a moment to notice the community room in her honor. Some of you may not know the naming of spaces in the Boston Public Library requires the vote of the trustees. Thank you, David, and I know you said that earlier. But it comes to us to vote on it. It's our responsibility. And I have to tell you, when Pat O'Neill's name came up for us to vote, right, Joyce? You know, overwhelmingly, people said yes. Yes to naming the community room after Pat O'Neill, because she embodies what we want our young people to know when they come in this space. Not just our young people, but our older citizens as well. That we can come together as individuals with everything aside and work together to uplift our communities. Doesn't matter if you're whatever your persuasion, right? Whether you're a D or I or R, we can come together. And let's start doing that and moving our community forward. So again, what an honor. Awesome to all of you guys. Congratulations and God bless.
And just to let you know, we have two more very important speakers, and then we'll get to the ribbon cutting and be able to see the branch inside. It really takes a village to pull off a project like this. And within the city government, there is a strong collaboration between many departments. But our main champions in moving projects like this forward are the Public Facilities Department. And so I would like now to welcome to the podium the new Director of Public Facilities, Kerrie Griffin.
Good morning, and thank you, Mayor Janey, for being here today and for your continued commitment to investing in our neighborhoods and in our libraries across the city. Thank you, President David Leonard, for the introduction and your partnership on this project and so many others. I also want to welcome our elected officials who are here today, as well as my awesome boss, Chief of Operations, Dion Irish. And last but not least, the community members who are here today. I am so proud, humbled, and full of gratitude to stand before you today as not only the Director of Public Facilities, but as your neighbor and your friend. It is my honor to be here today as the daughter of Dorchester, in the neighborhood where I was raised and where I raised my son. This was our library. This library and its staff were my portal of discovery and possibility, and is responsible for my joy of reading. The Adams Branch Library was an $18 million project that doubled the square footage of the building. The building itself is stunning, from its fluted terracotta panels to its large single-pitch roof, whose geometry creates a sustainable stormwater system for the entire site. The virtual storefront creates a transparent connection between the library and the street that was never there before. I would submit to you the aesthetics are gorgeous, but what makes a great library is a great community. Because of the community's input and imagination, and yes, even their dogmatic refusal to allow us to remove the oak tree that has stood on the north end of the site for many decades, we ended up with a better building by incorporating this natural feature to ensure its centrality into the future, creating an open public reading area for many decades to come. Public Facilities, in partnership with BPL, started this project in 2016 and engaged our designer, Nada. This has been a long and deep collaboration with the departments and agencies whose guidance and support led us to this day. I would like to acknowledge and recognize the project team from Public Facilities. James McGaffigan, Senior Project Manager. James responsible for the overall managing of the project. Pat Doherty, Clerk of the Works. Pat was the daily eyes and ears. Both Pat's and Jim's passion, dedication, humor made this project a success and often entertaining. Our Assistant Directors for Construction, Tom Leahy. Tom recently retired after 30 years of service to the city in PFD, and Mary Silveria, the other AD on this project. Also from PFD, our in-house architects, Alistair Lux, Mike Saucy, Maureen Anderson, Annie Grant is our FF&E specialist, and our legal advisor, Seamus. I also want to thank the BPL team, and I know David's going to be thanking them individually, so I'm not going to name them all, but we really appreciate our partnership with BPL. And I also want to acknowledge and thank Trish Lyons, the former Director of Public Facilities. Our visionary designer, Nadar, and their principal, Nader Tahani, and associate architect, Amin Taj, who took our ideas and input and developed a beautiful and inclusive design that reflects the needs of the community. Our general contractor, J&J Contractors, did amazing work building the state-of-the-art library. Principal Cam Patel, Rob St. Orge, the superintendent, and project managers Tyle Burse and Pamel Patel were a pleasure to work with, and J&J continues to do excellent work with us across the city. Thank you to, we have a lot of, thank you to all our design consultants and subcontractors who played a critical role in this project. So many people touch a project, and it has been my experience that these type of projects reflect city government at its best. Thank you to our partners at the Office of Budget Management, and I see our CFO, and Justin Sterrett and Jack Hanlon, Deputy Director of OBM. Nothing happens in the city without OBM, so thank you. I also want to thank Public Works, Transportation, Fire, Police, ONS, Parks, everyone, Inspection Services, Boston Water and Sewer, Eversource, National Grid, everyone plays a huge role and it has touched this project and this building. I want to thank Secretary Walsh and former Chief of Staff of Operations, Patrick Brophy, for their advocacy, support for this project. Without their leadership, their commitment to the city, and their vision, this project would not have happened. We often joke during construction that we were building the Brophy branch library, not the Adams branch. Thank you again, Mayor Janey, for your leadership. It has truly been a pleasure working with you on these projects, and I look forward to future collaborations. In the words of Albert Einstein, the only thing that you absolutely have to know is the location of the library. Welcome, Dorchester, to your new library. Please give yourself and the project team a round of applause.
Thank you, Kerrie. And in addition to our city colleagues, just a quick shout out to some of the library teams, collections, IT, facilities, the project management office represented here today by Kelly Hall and Alicia Schwab. And we heard about Katie, but Katie has a great staff here as well. And so I just want to reintroduce you to your library team here in Alyssa Birdseye, Valerie Durham, the new children's librarian, Jackie Hincapie, Hong Vu, Mike McCarthy, who's covering for the custodials until we have our own dedicated custodian here, And to round out our speaking program, we've heard how vital the community has been to be part of this process. We are here to serve you. This is your library. We're just the custodians of it. And so a voice that is critical in that dialogue is the Friends of the branch. And so welcome to the podium, Grace Hebard, the president of the Friends.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here with everybody, especially Mayor Janey and BPL President David Leonard and all the other elected officials and people that helped make this happen. Everybody that I was going to thank has already been thanked more than once. So I just want to say I agree with what everybody else said, but really the staff, which was just mentioned, is really the key. We're just so happy to have most of the staff back. We did lose a couple of people. Megan, the children's librarian, moved out to Western Mass, but we have a new children's librarian, Jackie, and I know she's going to be wonderful. But Alyssa is back, and Val, and Hong, and of course Katie, and we're just so happy to say that. So everybody was talking about the past, and I just had one thing I wanted to remember. So when we first started the Friends group a long time ago, 26 years ago, there was one person who was supportive who's no longer with us, and that was Mayor Tom Menino, who encouraged us to apply for the grant that had the first reading garden. So he really, I feel like, got us started in our advocacy for the libraries. And of course, Mayor Walsh was supportive in getting this, and Mayor Janey also. But there's so many people to thank, but the people I want to mention, besides the staff, are the other people in the Friends group, which is Mary O'Brien, Joanne Tranford, Madeline Cahill, and Donna McGarrigle. The 5 of us have been a core group for 25 years, and we're very anxious to have some new people come join us as we reform the Friends group. We'll be having a meeting, and we'll be announcing that, and we really would love everybody to come and be a part of the advocacy and support of our library. And thank you so much.
And so this now concludes our speaking program.
Now look at the camera.
All right, ready?
1, 2, 3.